Alright, there we go. So, there we go, end of Rogue. This is probably obvious by kind of the way I've been acting early, kind of later on in this kind of session. I think also in the last session. I don't like the map of the North Atlantic. I think that it's too big, or there's not it's too empty. There's too much nothing going on there, which might be kind of geographically accurate, but isn't fun. Then you've got the River Valley. We haven't actually been in them for a while. I actually kind of preferred that. I think it's similar enough to the Caribbean in that there's a lot around, but it's different because it's not as open. So you've got to be a bit more kind of maneuverable and traveling around. And I think that actually worked quite well as something different, which is really good. And I did like New York, the classic kind of city. I think it's probably very similar to what it was like in 3. Hello, achievement. No page unturned.
It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you up here today.
Gotta hand it to you, numbskull. You proved yourself to be more than a simple research monkey.
Am I a Templar now?
The data you extracted from Shay Cormac's memories has served us well.
I'm just going to get to the story, but alright.
Shay's story is a message. One that says that when threatened, what an assassin truly wants isn't freedom, but order.
And we represent the highest order there is.
Whatever you learn from your Animus experience only scratches the surface. We have existed since before recorded human history, and have recently been reborn, disguised as Abstergo Industries.
And entertainment.
You have crossed the threshold, and your eyes have been opened. You have seen the world for what it truly is.
There's no turning back now. We got big plans for you.
The Father of Understanding guided you to us, and for that, we are grateful. The test of your true worth begins now. And it begins with a choice.
Join us, and a bright future will be all yours.
Refuse.
Okay, I quite like that. Is that he doesn't actually have to tell you what the result of refusing will be. I really like the story. Okay, first of all, because this is one of those moments where I think actually the story outside has been a bit more interesting. I know it's kind of Juno, and I'm kind of a little frustrated that Juno didn't show up at the end there. I thought she was going to. But the inanimate stuff, the Shay stuff, I think it was... They showed the kind of reverse, and I think the goal of Rogue was to show what happened between 4 and 3, which is kind of part of the reason I had kind of heard that, which is why I wanted to do it. I wanted to kind of get that stuff done, and it's that bridge of where are all the assassins from 4, what's happened to them, why is there only Achilles, why are the Templars now so strong and powerful when they were struggling in 4. And I think that worked really well. I like Shay in that he is... The Templars are still not good, guys. I know I like Hatham, but he's not really good. He's not completely good. And they didn't change that. They didn't make the Templars the good guys. They made them, on this one issue of the precursor artifacts, they are better than the assassins. Which is why Shay goes to them. And even with assassinating the assassins, he's not doing it in general. He's doing it because they're trying to kill people he sees as friends or people he respects. But they're also trying to get the precursor artifacts. They're trying to stop him from stopping them. And so he feels he must, and he does what he must to protect the world. That's the thing he said to Liam. I think I would have liked... I think with that he's a good guy, I think I would have liked to have seen more, especially from Liam, and also maybe from Hope. I would have liked to have seen more of a... none of us wanted this to happen. Hope was kind of like, yeah, I knew you were gonna get me. But I think it's also the fact that Liam's thing kind of started that way, where they're laughing and talking, and he's joking about luck, and he mentions luck, and then Shay says his line of "I make my own luck," and then Liam kind of gets him for that. I think I would have liked to have seen, like, he could have commented like, "You make your own luck. You're trapped with a dying man on a glacier." Or on a chunk of ice or something. And I think they could have done a bit more there with that relationship. But in general, I did like the Shay stuff. Apart from the sailing, I think parts of the sailing, I think, in this undermined the game. Because there was just so much... I was fast traveling in the end. I don't like fast traveling unless I feel that the other option is going to be exceptionally boring. For me or you guys. And I think just kind of sailing around like that, when there's nothing to even look at, there's nothing to really do, you are sailing across icy water with some icy bits. I actually kind of really liked the way they did this. Like, I know that the person, like our immediate person, was really not the kind of best character to have in that. I think it might have been more interesting if you'd had Melanie Lemay there. But I mean, like, if you think about the other ones, you've got one where you're fighting against, you want to get out of Abstergo Industries. Second is learning to fight. Brotherhood is, let's see if I can remember the Desmond plots. I think you're trying to find stuff in Brotherhood. Then in Revelations, you're... basically, they've put you in the Animus to help you. 3, you're trying to find the key to the thing in 3. And then 4, you're just running around helping the assassins, but you don't really know they're the assassins. And the Sage, the 21st century Sage, is trying to have you be possessed by Juno, who then doesn't. In this one, I think it was a bit more interesting in that you're kind of, especially with the stuff they're showing that you're finding, it's about assassins who joined the Templars, and at the end there, that kind of offering to join the Templars thing, I think was a really cool moment. And I think I really like this story. I don't know what they're gonna do, because I don't think, unless they're kind of gonna go back to you're trying to find things for the game for the Templars, and so they put you into the mind of assassins. I don't know how they can continue this plot, especially with it being, I think, separate from Unity, so they're not the same plot at all. And because I think this is like a relatively kind of secondary game, so I don't think it's going to continue the plot, which is really kind of sad, because this is basically, it's almost kind of in both ways, it's a continuation of 4. Shay's story is almost kind of, it is the continuation of Edward's to link to Hatham and Connor in 3. And the kind of real world stuff is a follow-on from 4, where you're following probably, I assume, the same character, and doing stuff there, following on from him, and kind of you've seen all you've seen, and so now you're seeing this. I'm trying to think back to the music now that's popped up, because I always find it useful to try and mention that. Ooh, voice acting. I think it was the same Benjamin Franklin from 3. I think there were a few kind of. I think Achilles was the same guy. Maybe. Hatham definitely was. I would have noticed if it wasn't. But I think I mentioned it early on. Shay's accent, certainly to begin with, I think was a bit dodgy. I think, but they probably. I'm guessing they recorded it in order, and so I think he became a lot more. I think I would have then gone back and redone the beginning stuff with where he's more practiced in his accent. Liam had a brilliant accent, and I think if you'd flipped those two characters, I think it would have been better. And music, I always like trying to comment on that at some point, because then I can say, yeah, I do comment on the music when people say, ooh, music, you're stealing our music. It's like, no, fair use. I'm trying to actually think about the music, which tells me it wasn't that bad. The shanties were good, although I think I missed some of them that were in 4 that I really liked, and they just didn't show back up again. But I think the kind of incidental stuff didn't bother me, which is... I can't think of it, which is a good sign, because it means that it didn't really annoy me and bug me and say, oh, hang on, this music doesn't make sense. I think there were a few times, though, where it got really kind of dramatic, and there was nothing dramatic happening. But I think that's a classic thing with most games anyway, like this. So, who knows? What else to talk about? I've talked about the in-animus plot, the real-world plot, the music, my frustrations with the game, my frustrations with the traveling. This kind of has the same issue I had with Inquisition. I have with most Assassin's Creed games, is there's too much side stuff. Like there's some games I've played recently where have been playing recently where there's not so much side stuff. Like Fallout 2 has got a lot of side stuff that's incidental to the plot, but I don't find that as annoying or frustrating as I do in this game. Biggest frustration? No proper tricorn hats. Very terrible. The thing is, I think Unity, and this is what Shay was hinting at, Unity I think is the French Revolution, so I don't think we're getting tricorn hats in that either. Sadly. I'm wondering how they're going to spin this plot off, because I don't think they can really do the same real world stuff, like following on from 4 with the real world character doing the testing for Abstergo Entertainment, because then it's like, okay, well, where do these fit in with the real world stuff? We'll have to see what that is. But it's like, thinking about it, you've got like this kind of... It'll almost kind of be interesting. I know it'd be really weird from the kind of real world perspective, but looking at it from kind of the chronology of characters. So I mean, 1 goes first, then you've got bits of Revelations talking about Altair's life, then it's 2 Brotherhood Revelations, then it's 4, then it's Rogue, then it's kind of the most of Rogue, then it's, after Rogue it's 3, then midway through 3 you've got Liberation, then, well, not midway, but towards the end, then you've got the last bit of Rogue, and then we're going into Unity. Oh, of course, then you've got Syndicate, and obviously Origins, or is it Origin? Origins, I think it is, the latest one, which is at the very beginning. I don't know what I'm talking about now, I'm just babbling. I can't really. I'm trying to put my finger on the other characters we had in the thing in out of the Templars. So we had Shay, Hatham, Gist, who was our kind of Adewale, the quartermaster type person by our side shouting out the orders. But we didn't really. But I know we had other characters with us. Like we had the guy with the green glasses. The guy who let out the prisoners while we tore down the Union flag, and I can't remember his name, and I'm sure there was a couple of other people who we worked with. And I think that's kind of my frustration, is that these characters, we could have spent more time with the Templars. We could have. I mean, this is basically half a game, in that there were 6 sequences, and I think in some others there's been 12. So this has basically been half a full game. And I mean, beyond, and even like this last section, you spent the last sequence, you go after Hope, who then sends you after the Venandri to de Venandri, Le Chevalier. Then you go on to following Liam and Achilles, and you kill Liam. And it's like, that could be, if you pad it out properly, but if you put in the right kind of stuff, that could be a decent 3-sequence wee little story. Dear. But I don't know. That's something to me I think was lacking. I'm trying to think of other things I can talk about. I think I would have liked to have more interaction. I know it's not kind of in the Animus, but kind of more interaction with people outside the Animus. And I mean, like those 3 that we saw at the end, Offrigus, Position, and Templars. I think that would have been interesting. Because then you're kind of interacting with them and you're getting to know them a bit better. Because at the end, basically, the reason we join the Templars is so we don't get shot, I think. Whereas it'd be kind of a good idea if they made the person who's working with us more likeable, who's kind of working over us more likeable, rather than her just calling us numbskull. Give her a character. Admittedly, that means you kind of have to give our character a name, or maybe, I don't know, maybe she could just call us Techie, because we're the technical guy, we're doing the Animus stuff, or something, if you want to kind of have her not use a real name. I'm worried that this is looping. It probably isn't. I hope. Ooh, special thanks, that seems like we're close to the end. But I think that would be kind of more interesting if you kind of give us essentially what happened. Okay, production babies, that means we're at the end. Legal notices. But if you'd given more time with them and made it similar to Shay joining the Templars, where he's seen the truth, and the Templars he's met are more likable than the assassins he's met, that would probably be a better reason for you to join the Templars, having that kind of relationship with people. Whether you had that with, whether you have that kind of build a close relationship to whatever her name was, or Melanie LeMay, even if it's just kind of a growing friendship, you could build something there. Yeah, Templar then, Templar now, I assume is the way that works. But it could just be, especially when we have joined. Oh, we are back in here. My controller switched off anyway. But yeah. So I think maybe it's because they only wanted a short game, but I think they lost they lost from that, and they could have had a better story and a better game if they'd not I don't want to say cut corners, but if they'd not kind of tried to streamline this to basically a half-length game with a number of sequences. I don't know about kind of I don't know about how long this is going to have been relative to my other series. I could have a look and have a think about that. But yeah, it could have been better if it had been slightly longer, in a meaningful way. I don't mean make the different distances in the North Atlantic longer. Please no. Ugh. So there we go. I think, yeah. I think this is kind of an interesting game, seeing things from a Templar perspective. But I think that there were some things that were lacking. Hopefully, the reason there was stuff lacking in here is because there's so much good stuff in Unity. I've seen the images of the horrible glitches in Unity. At the very least, they should be entertaining. So there we go. Probably will do. I don't know. Will I do Unity first? Next? Probably. Maybe. We'll see. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.